Hi. It is so great to be back. This is my 15th HRC dinner in a row. We need you now more than ever. And I want to thank our co-chairs, Chris Fasser, Luigi Llewellyn, Lauren Verusio, for organizing this great evening. I want to thank the great Seth Meyers for being here. And of course, Meryl Streep. Mr. President, President Trump, you got it wrong. She is underrated. I also want to recognize someone I am so proud to call a partner in this fight, a tireless, passionate advocate for equality, Chad Griffin. Chad, you've got guts, you know what's right, and you don't back away from a fight. You know, he is from Arkansas, but let me tell you, I want to pay him the ultimate compliment. He acts like he's from New York. Now, last year when I was here, of course, I addressed you under different circumstances. We were in the throes of an intense campaign, one that I thought we would win. We were poised to elect our first female president, and it seemed that the march to equality was steadily advancing. We woke up, unfortunately, to a very different world on November 9th. I was distraught. I was sure Hillary would win. The next day, my daughters, adult daughters, came to me crying, and I taught them the old Shirelle song. Mama said there'd be days like this. For a few days, I was down in the dumps, but then I realized something. Had Hillary been president and I'd been the majority leader, I certainly would have had more fun. And we certainly would have gotten more good things done. But now, as minority leader under President Trump, my job was much more important. And for sure, we've seen it. In the first 3 weeks, this administration tested the limits of executive power, violated sacred American values, shaken the very foundation of constitutional order. This president will attack any individual or institution that dares to challenge his authority. He and his merry band of cable news spin doctors seem to invent new dimensions of falsehood each and every day. He attacks me. Mr. President Trump, your attacks don't scare me at all. They invigorate me. Well, in this new environment, with this new administration, we must be clear-eyed about the threats to our civil rights, unified in every way in opposition to every attempt to erode them. Whenever the rights of any group in America are under assault, we all must speak up. As Chad has said, when President Trump attacks one of us, he's going to hear from all of us. That's why I was so proud to be in front of Stonewall with so many of you last week, where we defended the rights of our Muslim brothers and sisters and said America will never, never, never have a religious test. And if that new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, uses the heavy hand of the law to discriminate rather than protect, he will hear from all of us. If the Republicans go after Planned Parenthood or try to wind back the clock on women's rights, they'll hear from all of us. If the administration decides to go forward with an order that would vitiate LGBTQ rights or roll back protections of transgender people in health care or for students in schools, they will hear from all of us. And with respect to the Supreme Court, if Judge Neil Gorsuch, a second coming of John Roberts, a conservative ideologue in sheep's clothing cannot prove his independence from the president, he will have a great deal of trouble counting to 60 votes in the United States Senate. I assure you of that. This much I promise you. Senate Democrats will be the bulwark against President Trump. We will do whatever it takes to prevent the backsliding of hard-won rights. So, it may seem that the long march, I've been with you on it, to full LGBT equality is stalled, but I implore you not to despair. There's something happening in America. I was at the Supreme Court last week, late at night on a Monday, in the freezing cold, where with a group of thousands who joined us to speak out against Betsy DeVos. The mics didn't work, but we were undeterred. I was at the Women's March here in New York, tens of thousands strong, 1 million strong. I spent 4 hours there. I was invigorated by the strength and conviction of those million marchers. And as I said, I was so proud to be at Stonewall last weekend when our community stood in solidarity with those targeted by the unconstitutional travel ban. You know, I cut my teeth in the protests against the Vietnam War. I have not seen the American public aroused to such a great an extent as now. Peaceful protests are happening in cities and campuses. Everywhere in America, urban areas, rural areas, suburban areas, from coast to coast, and they're making a difference. That energy, that commitment to cause, it must be sustained. One of the reasons that awful executive order against LGBT Americans never made it past the drafting table was because of a massive public outcry, because of the voices of the people in this room. And now, the president's mean-spirited, discriminatory executive action on immigration and refugees is on the ropes, pegged back by the courts. The administration seems to test the Constitution, violate core American values every other day. But we will push back, and we will win. Because the America I know celebrates and cherishes its diversity. It doesn't shrink or fear from it. The America I know over history has extended the shield of the law to protect and lift up its citizens, not hinder or exclude them. That's the America that ended DOMA and Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and made marriage equality the law of the land. It will stay that way. It's the America that turned Stonewall into a national monument. It's an America that promises in its inscriptions above the marble columns of its highest court that everyone is equal under the law. My friends, it took millions of Americans, hundreds of years, to build this awesome country of fair laws and opportunity. Americans who fought, who protested, who agitated, and inspired our country to weed out injustice and bigotry and move ever closer to our highest ideals. We will follow in their footsteps. The women who gathered at Seneca Falls, the peaceful marchers who crossed the bridge in Selma, and the brave gay and, yes, transgender New Yorkers who nearly 50 years ago taught the country the power of resistance at Stonewall. The power of righteous protest and deep, unyielding conviction. In this moment of profound unease about the direction of this country, I want to remind everyone here of an unassailable truth. America does change for the better, but not on its own. It's on us. As leader of the Senate Democrats, I am ready to fight. And I know you are too. So, my friends, let's keep up the fight together. Keep speaking out. Keep the faith, because in the end, when you fight for it, equality always prevails in America. Thank you and have a great evening tonight. I'm with you all the way. You inspire me. You inspire me. Thank you.